Okay, Operation Austin City Limits, end of turn 4. This is going to be Commonwealth, France, Soviet Union. Purchase for Commonwealth is going to be 2 tanks saving 5 IPCs. 1 combat move for Commonwealth over here in the Pacific. Zoom in a little bit, get a clear picture here. Here we go. I'm going to be taking a transport from C Zone P57. I'm going to be taking in infantry and artillery from Queensland, putting them in the transport and going 1, 2, and 3 into C Zone P46 and attacking the Celebes Islands with them. That's going to be my only attack for Commonwealth, so it's going to be 2 2s versus a 2. So let's roll some dice. My 2 2s. I got 1 hit. You have a 2 to defend. You got a hit as well. We will trade infantry there, and I will take the Celebes Island from the Japanese. Get everything back into view here. Close enough. Both infantry are dead. The Japanese track killer is going to go. I'm going to put a symbol on it. Okay, I have some non-combat moves. Going to be moving the 2 destroyers and 2 cruisers, as well as the cruiser from C Zone P59. They're going to be joining the U.S. fleet up in the C Zone. That is the Carolina Islands. That'd be C Zone P36. So we're going to put them all with the fleet. Additionally, I have 3 fighters in Queensland and a tactical bomber. I'm going to be moving those 1, 2, 3, 4 to land on the Carolina Islands. In Africa, I'm going to be moving my tank up to Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. That's going to be the end of my non-combat moves. I'm going to be placing my 2 tanks in South Africa. And I'm going to be carrying out my units. I have 2 tanks in South Africa, a tank and infantry and an anti-aircraft gun in Sudan, along with a British infantry, mech infantry, and artillery. I have 2 infantry and a tank in London. I have an infantry in Scotland. I have an infantry and artillery in Canada. I have an infantry in India. I have an infantry in Java. I have an artillery in the Celebes Islands. I have a transport in C Zone P46. I have 3 infantry and 2 anti-aircraft guns in Queensland. I have a transport in C Zone P59. C Zone P36. I have 3 cruisers and 2 destroyers, along with the American fleet, which consists of 3 aircraft carriers containing 4 fighters and 2 tactical bombers, 2 transports, a battleship, 2 cruisers, 4 destroyers, and a submarine. On the Carolina Islands, I have 3 fighters and a tactical bomber to go along with the U.S., 2 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 mech infantry, and anti-aircraft gun. In New Zealand, I have an infantry. So that's going to be Anzac turn. Counting up IPCs, they still control their original 19. They've now also picked up Java for 21 and Celebes for 23. A couple bonuses to collect. Firstly, I control 5 surface naval warships. They're all in C Zone P36. That's a 3 IPC bonus, putting me up to 26. Additionally, the Celebes, Java, Dutch New Guinea, New Britain, and the Solomon Islands are all clear from the Axis and controlled by the Allies. That's another 3 IPC bonus, putting me at 29. With the 5 IPCs I saved, I'm going to have 34 IPCs going into turn 5 for the Commonwealth. Put that in tray and move to France's turn. Okay. French infantry is going to remain in Kachau over there. Over here in Africa, this group of bandits over here is going to move into Italian Libya and take it uncontested. Another French tricolor goes on the board. Imagine that. The infantry from Algeria is going to move up to Tunisia, and the infantry from Morocco is going to move up to Algeria. That's all the moves for France. I have 4 infantry in Italian Libya, Tobruk. I have 1 infantry in Tunisia, 1 infantry in Algeria, 1 French fighter in the United Kingdom, and a French infantry in Kichau. That's going to be France's turn. Soviet Union's turn, I think, is considerably more exciting than the other two. Their purchase is going to be 9 infantry and 2 artillery, saving nothing. They have some attacks, or at least one attack. I'm going to be taking an artillery and an infantry from Leningrad. I'm going to be putting it on the transport and sea zone A-15, and I'll be moving 1 space to attack Berlin with it. Additionally, I will be using the cruiser from A-15 to join it and bombard into Berlin. I have 3 fighters and a tactical bomber in Leningrad with the airbase there. So they will be moving 1 move into A-15, 2 into A-14, and 3 to join the attack in Berlin. With 2 moves remaining, they can either land in Denmark or Norway, controlled by the British. I'm not sure the battle in Ukraine is favorable, especially without any aircraft to assist them there. So there will be no other attacks from Russia. We'll see if we can grab Berlin real quick. From the Germans, I have 2 2s, a bombardment roll of 3. My tactical bomb with a fighter will roll 1 4, and then I will have 3 other 4s. 2 2s, 3 3s, a 4, and a bombardment shot, and you have 3 3s defending. So here it is, 2 for 2. I got 1 hit. 3 for 3 plus the bombardment puts me 4 dice rolls of 3. I got 1 hit, and then I have 1 roll for 4. That's going to miss. I'm only going to deal 2 hits there. You're going to have 3 rolls for 3 defending. You're going to get 2 hits. So, before I move to turn, or the second round of rolling, I have to take some pieces off the board. You lose 2 tanks. You'll have 1 tank remaining. With my 2 hits that I have to take, I'm going to take an infantry and a fighter off the board. Still continuing the attack will be 1 artillery, 2 fighters, and 1 tactical bomber. Okay, I have 1 roll for 2, 2 rolls for 3, and 1 roll for 4. Let's just roll them all together this time. See if we can get a hit. I will get 3 hits there. You have 1 roll for 3 to defend with. See if you can't make me lose another fighter. And you do. That's another fighter I'm going to lose. But nonetheless, I am going to take Berlin with 1 artillery. And this major will now go down to a minor. Non-combat moves. I'm going to land my tactical bomber and my fighter 1-2 into Norway. I have a fighter in Karelia. I think I might have messed up here. I'm not quite sure if I can hold Leningrad or not. But regrettably, I've already moved my 5 British planes into there. And Germany moves before the UK does, so it seems like I'm priced into it. So that fighter from Karelia is going to move into Leningrad. I have an artillery in Finland, which I will be moving into Karelia. I have a tank in Archangel, which will also be moving into Leningrad. I have 4, 7, 8 infantry in Smolensk. I think I'm going to move them all into Leningrad to make it 9 total infantry there so far. If I'm using this correctly, I'm going to rail using my factory in Russia 3 spaces from Moscow, 1, 2, 3, to also defend in Leningrad. I'm going to move my 5 infantry from Kaluga into Smolensk. Is that right? No, it's not right. We're going to move them into Bryansk instead and join the troops there. I'm going to leave 1 infantry in Rostov and move the remaining 4 infantry in artillery into Kursk, the 2 infantry from Stalingrad and the artillery from artillery, or I can't do that, or yes I can rail them into Kursk. But I'm actually going to rail them into, no, I don't need to be doing any of that. I'm going to move them up into Tambov here. Probably should have attacked in Japan. That's alright, why get greedy? We're not Japan, Eastern Asia. What I am going to do though is I'm going to leave an infantry, or what am I going to do here? That's a good question. I'm going to leave an infantry in Buryatia, but then move 5 infantry to join the 12 infantry I have in Dornod. So that's going to be 17 total infantry there. Cavalry will move down as well, and so will the anti-aircraft gun into Dornod. Let's clean that up a little bit. 17 total infantry in Dornod. 2 cavalry there. And 2 anti-aircraft guns there as well. Okay. I also have the mech infantry in the Caucasus. I'm going to move 1, 2 into Bryansk, joining my troops there. I have a submarine in A-15. I'm going to move it. Set on camera. It isn't. Get the Baltic Sea in here. I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3 into season A20. I'm also going to be joining it with the submarine in A5, 1, 2 there as well. I think that's all the moves Russia can make. It's time to deploy. I'm going to be putting 3 of my purchased infantry into Leningrad. I'm going to be, let's put that on the chip where it belongs. I'm going to be putting, I have 6 infantry and 2 artillery left to put down. I'm going to be putting an artillery and 2 infantry into Stalingrad. I have 4 infantry and an artillery left to place. So I will put the rest into Moscow. Unit dispositions. I have 2 submarines in Sea Zone A20. I have a fighter and a tactical bomber in Norway. I have a cruiser in transport in Sea Zone A14. I have an artillery in Karelia. In Leningrad, I have 9 is 12, 13, 14 infantry in Leningrad, a tank, an artillery, a fighter, and an anti-aircraft gun, along with 4 British fighters and a tactical bomber. In Belarus, I have an infantry, In Bryansk, I have 8, 11, 14, 15, 16 infantry there, as well as, 8, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17 infantry there, 2 anti-aircraft guns, and a mech. I have an infantry in Rostov. I have 2 infantry and artillery in Stalingrad. I have 3 infantry and artillery in Kursk. I have 2 infantry and artillery in, Tambov. I have 4 infantry in anti-aircraft gun and artillery in Moscow. I have a single infantry in Buryatia. I have 17 infantry, 2 cavalry, and 2 anti-aircraft guns in Dornod. And of course, in C-Zone A38, I have still the destroyer and the cruiser. IPCs. Russia starts with 40, I believe. 40. Yes. Starts with 40. They've lost 1. I assume this is 2. It is 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 IPCs worth of original territory. Let's not forget the ones in the east. 7, 8, and 10. Putting them at 30. They've picked up Finland to 32. They've picked up Germany for 37. They get the 2 of 2 IPC bonuses for controlling 2 Axis or pro-Axis territories, putting them at 41. I get the bonus for capturing Germany for the first time, and I get the German IPCs, which I'm not sure which each one of those numbers are, and so I will figure that out in a moment. But I also, before I forget, have my Lend-Lease to roll. Not that I already did troop dispositions. So I have Archangel still open and Iran open to roll for. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, here's my D6 for Archangel. I rolled a 1, that's going to be 1 artillery there. For Iran. I rolled a 3, that's going to be 2 IPCs I get to my bank. Okay, interesting. But I need to put my artillery down in Archangel. And that's going to be the turn. And we're going to go on to turn 5.